Welcome to The Explainer. We often think that to succeed in tech, you've got to be the loudest voice in the room. But what if that's not true? Today, we're going to break down the playbook of a top cybersecurity expert who does the exact opposite. He lets his work do all the talking. And that expert is Ahmed Shawky. He's a senior security engineer over at IBM and co-founded RealCyberDefenders. This guy has built an incredible career not by shouting from the rooftops, but through sheer expertise. So, how did he do it? Let's get into it.
Honestly, his journey is like a masterclass for anyone looking to build something in tech. So we've distilled it all down into a kind of playbook, and we're starting right at the beginning with what might be the most important step of all, how you actually learn this stuff. All right, part one, the learning path. And this is interesting. Shawky points out a huge mistake that a lot of people make right out of the gate. It all comes down to a choice you have to make between two completely different ways of learning.
Okay, so on one hand, you've got what he calls scattered learning. You know what this is like, right? You watch a YouTube tutorial here, read a blog post there, grab some random tips, and yeah, it feels like you're learning, but the problem is you end up with all these disconnected pieces of information full of gaps. It's not a real foundation.
So Shawky's advice is super clear on this. Find a structured path. A good, solid course lays everything out for you step by step in the right order. You get the fundamentals. I love his analogy for it. It's like trying to build a puzzle. You can either try to piece it together from a random pile of pieces, or you can have the picture on the box to guide you. The choice is pretty obvious, right?
Okay, so once you've got that solid foundation, what's next? This brings us to part two, the founder's leap. For Shawky, becoming a founder wasn't some kind of eureka moment in the shower. Nope, it was way more deliberate. It all started by spotting a very specific gap in the market. His company, RealCyberDefenders, is all about something called blue teaming, which is basically the art and science of defending computer networks. And what he noticed was that, yeah, a lot of people were talking about it, but there was almost nowhere to go to get real, practical, hands-on training for these defensive skills. And this right here, this is a huge part of his whole philosophy. For Shawky, cyber defense isn't about having a hunch or a gut feeling. It's about hard evidence. It's facts, it's data, it's logs, it's numbers. You can't just feel like you're secure. You have to actually prove it.
And this breaks down his process so perfectly. See, it wasn't magic, it was just methodical. Step one, find a real problem that needs solving. In this case, the lack of hands-on training. Step two, figure out the solution. Build a platform where people can practice. And then step three, the part where most people fail, actually execute on it. Build the thing.
Which brings us to part three, building the machine. Because let's be real, having a great idea is one thing, but turning that idea into an actual functioning business, that is a whole different ballgame.
And this gets us to one of the all-time great debates for entrepreneurs. What's more important? Having a totally genius, one-of-a-kind idea, or having a genius team that can make any idea work?
Well, Shawky's answer couldn't be clearer. He says a brilliant idea with terrible execution is almost guaranteed to fail. But a pretty good idea, or even an existing one that's executed flawlessly, that has a much, much better shot. It's all about the how, not just the what.
So how did they pull off that superior execution? It all came down to how they built their founding team. Look at this. They didn't just get 3 cybersecurity experts in a room. No, they built a team where everyone had different complementary skills.
And that division of labor was basically their superpower. You had one person handling all the cybersecurity content, another one focused entirely on building the platform, and a third running the business and operations side of things. Everyone knew their lane and became an expert in it.
But, and this is important, let's get real for a second. Shawky is very clear that this whole entrepreneurial journey is not glamorous. It takes an immense amount of personal sacrifice. And, the level of commitment you can give is going to be totally different if you're fresh out of college versus if you're supporting a family. It's a personal calculation everyone has to make.
So moving on to our final section, because Shawky's vision goes way beyond just his own company. He's really passionate about improving the entire Arab tech community and has some strong ideas on how to lift everyone up. He lays out a few key things that need to happen. For one, creating more top-tier technical content in Arabic, content that can stand shoulder to shoulder with anything else out there globally. And two, fostering a culture that's actually open to constructive criticism and really supports new projects and new ideas.
But honestly, the point he's most passionate about is the culture. He makes a plea for people to stop with the personal attacks during technical debates. Look, the goal isn't to prove you're the smartest person there.
The goal is to work together to find the best answer. It's about elevating the entire conversation for everyone's benefit.
So after all this, what's the big takeaway from Ahmed Shawky's playbook? It's that building a truly successful career isn't just about your technical skills. It's about how you learn. It's about how you execute on your ideas. And maybe most importantly, it's about how you treat the people around you. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. When you look past all the skills and the big ideas, what's the real currency that's going to define your success in the long run?